This is Doc. What I want to do is I want to show you some interesting important points, because whenever you're shipping merchandise, especially if it's a high dollar merchandise, in the past problems like eBay has had a problem where customers have ordered something and they sent back something else and there is no way of disputing it. But the suggestion has been videotape what you're doing or take pictures of it as you're boxing. Now that's what we're going to do here, but not just because of this particular order, but we want to do this to show how you can do this, but also a special way of how you can prepare your packages for shipping. And I think this should be very helpful. Now draw attention to over here. This is what the product at hand that we're doing. And what we've done is when we've taken pictures originally, we have a lot of detailed pictures of the camera itself as well as the numbers there. This camera, now I'm putting it in the case. Okay, and of course I'm zipping it up. Just not as fast as I want it. Oh, it snaps up, okay. They're okay, the Velcro, that's good. What I like to do is I always like to wrap it anyway, and I wrapped this originally, but I stripped it off so you can see what we're doing. And if you can stand it taller and you get a better picture sometimes, maybe that's helpful, I don't know. You look down, you can see that. But the idea is in principle of covering it real good. Now, of course, I'm going to wrap this in bubble wrap too. But this is initially how I package a lot of my products, even before after I've taken pictures and I sell them. But for this particular case and this particular situation, I find it necessary to make sure that everything is done ahead of time and copacetic. Now over here, you look up in the ceiling here, you walk over here and see that, just come closer. You see I got a little bubble wrap here, and I'll wrap it like so. You see okay?
Yeah.
Don't hesitate to speak up. Now my wife is behind the camera and she's experienced in shipping, and a lot of times it's good because whenever you're doing something like this, obviously you're taking pictures, but you obviously like to have another witness too, just in case there's a problem or a dispute. There's a lot of con people who know how to work the system, and overall eBay seems to kind of kowtow to them, see. But Poshmark has done real good, but I think sometimes you have to give them something to work with. Right now I'm going to be going to the UPS office, and post office always gives me a receipt. This UPS office says, oh, don't worry, as long as you got a receipt, it matters. And that's not true, because I'm going there to dispute a case with them very shortly, because the UPS says they never got it. So there we have that. Now, what I've done ahead of time is I've prepared a box. Now we're gonna backtrack about this in a little bit. I'm going to explain to you about the boxes and the kind of boxes to use in a second, once I get this order complete. Now, of course, you want to make sure you put adequate covering in here. And I'm going to put my package here, but there's a space there, so I need to put something there just to kind of help balance it out. Sometimes you can put it in the center, but it's always important when you're putting padding, and make sure you have enough on the bottom, because sometimes people, they take the package and they just drop them like that, and that could be very detrimental to the products.
Well, you also have to have it on the top too, because they flip them over. You need your product packaged all the way around properly.
This is just a little extra thing I like to do. I put a little paper in like so. I'm gonna have to go back and put a little bit more padding in there. Okay, sometimes it's good to have a piece of styrofoam, but you got to be very careful about this. I forgot to mention, we'll mention it later on, I weighed the merchandise. The merchandise was 2 pounds, 4 ounces. The box was 9 ounces without the shipping, so it might be up to a pound. So we're looking at about 3.5 pounds now. It's important because at a certain point, the price jumps from $4.99 to $9.99. What I like to do here, as you can tell by the pictures, this is a thank you note, and this is a note, dock at the barn, please subscribe. Eventually I'm going to do it on one page, but that's how I have it right now. Now what I do is when I tape it, one of the things I'll want to do, tape it nice and good. Sometimes I always like to run a cross tape just in case. Now in the event that you have some imperfections of the box, sometimes it's good to get one of these. It's tape, but it's like a paper. It just makes it look more fortified and stronger. See, and I need to do that on the other side. Because this is a high dollar item, and even if it wasn't, packaging is very important. A lot of people grade you on that and make decisions to whether they like you or not. First impressions can be very damaging if it's done wrong. Now this is the customer. We got his name blocked out. This one's going to Chicago. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my back to the camera now, and I'll put this label on it. But anyway, basically I'm just going to, I fold it in half like that. Yeah, keep the camera on me. Now this is going to UPS. They mentioned it has the weight on there, 4 pounds. So the weight is pretty much guessed right. But I've weighed this in advance. And whenever you weigh something in advance, it's always good to, you know, spot yourself a little bit. A lot of times the weight, once you hit, I think, 1.5 pounds to 4 pounds or something like that, it's the same price. Okay, now hang on. Okay, now let me put the thing back on. Okay, now let you see that. I've also run a piece of tape over the label. When I do it like this is good because if this gets wet, sometimes the address can run, and that protects that. Okay, so now this is ready to go. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about packaging and boxes. Keep the camera over there. As I said before, you weigh the boxes. I'll bring the scale over here and you can see what I'm saying. Depending on what you're using, it might be a very lightweight. And see here is this particular scale. My wife says it's not a very good one, but it's the one we're using right now. You can see the weight there, and then you weigh the box. The box is 4.7, which means you go up to 1 pound. If you're selling a Funko Pop, you use something these lightweight boxes. The bigger boxes, on the other hand, as I said before, weigh more. Anyway, you could do it like that if you would. This one is basically 5.9 as I recall. But now here's the things that we want to keep in mind about boxes. It's very important. If you use used boxes, and many of us do, there are certain things you want to be very careful of. Stickers like Louisiana picks, you want to pull that off. This is the box I really want to show or demonstrate. A lot of classic problems here. You got a barcode. Now there's two ways you can do with a barcode. You can run some tape over it, or sometimes you can color it in, do something like that. That's sometimes acceptable. This tells the people that they're getting catnip fever or treat, and that might not be what you're selling, so that could be a problem. And of course you would take off the label here or color it, but pay close attention to the box and the content of the box and everything like that. And it's very important. Now if it has the word aerosol, don't even use it. Sometimes you can etch it up, but my wife says sometimes it comes back because there's an extra charge in aerosol. Flammable liquid's the same thing. And I think that pretty much kind of covers the aspect as far as the shipping. I can't think of anything else. Hang on one second. Let me See, try not to drop anything. Box choice, taping, product wrapping, used boxes, barcodes, weighing the box. I think that's everything. If not, you'll hear more about it later. But in the meantime, we want to thank you for subscribing to this channel. I hope this is helpful to you in your shipping business, dealing with MERCARI and eBay and Poshmark and all the others. So on behalf of Doc Lee Snyder, thank you very much.